Listening to the Law Enforcement Pirate Radio Network. Radio Free Larry presiding.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Radio Free Larry.
All right, here we go again. Buckle up. Rough roads ahead. So it's kind of a crazy day, as it always is, isn't it? Some people go, well, I'm having a well day. No, Trump, you're not having a well day. You're rich, but you're having a crazy day, admit it. And why I say Trump? Because he's our favorite guy to beat on. You have to pull your support from the criminal spies, Trump, and then maybe you'll get back up. Till you do that, you'll be in hell. Or on your way there, at least. Pull your support. Quit using them. Put them out. Disconnect from Babylon. They want to tell me that I'm the idiot because that's how it works. No, you're devils and you cause the earth to be that. You know, it's kind of crazy. My screen's kind of dim. I wonder if my phone's going. All right, everybody get ready. I might order an Asurian phone. No, actually, I'm speaking to the FBI. Well, you know, they know the way they have to approach it is that we don't care about Larry. But they know that this is what's being used against them. So there's agents that do watch this kind of stuff now. But yet, what? We see less suicides. Time will tell whether we see less sex crimes in government. There's KKZ. There's Lars on an Oklahoma plate, LRZ. So what God did, again, I can't take credit for it, and if I did, it would break. Because I can do nothing without God, and neither can you, even though you all think you can. However, reverse engineered what they were doing, then developed a system that manipulates their manipulation so I can identify what it is. It doesn't mean that I manipulate them into doing it. They're already there. They're already operating. But I have to make them move out of time so I can see what they're doing before my mind goes into a place where I can't see them and then they keep operating and operating. Here's an example. There's a woman that just started working here. Is she one of them? I don't know. I don't care. But as soon as she showed up and we had a little discussion, it didn't want me to broadcast anymore. They changed because they saw it. They have hidden cameras. They don't even have to use the hotel cameras. They can put a camera anywhere. I mean, they're like, what, an inch by an inch and even smaller. Again, bring a vehicle in here to do some repair or repairman and put it anywhere you can't see it. So again, I use that type of stuff for deterrence. They use it for corruption. They use it to try to make people paranoid. They use it to gain information, to manipulate people's lives. So you have to understand, over the years, a lot of the agencies now have people that are no longer really law enforcement. It's, again, what we saw in the Soviet Union. So it goes back to Putin and Ukraine and all those people paying. Ukraine's similar. They just have different points of views and they're kind of enemies. But you know, when it came time to making money in the United States and playing some game with somebody crazy, making spy craft type work, they would do it and they get $1 million for it. Because in the beginning, especially, nobody in the United States would essentially commit these crimes. What they had to do is develop a system that said it's no longer a crime. And that's what Trump was doing. He was helping move that forward, that it wasn't a crime because they did it. Again, part of Trump's activity in telling people that he was ripped off is so they'll rip the next candidate off and feel good doing it. The Democratic Party candidate. So Trump's been a spy along with Epstein. They're all spies in reality. And they're manipulated for money to do certain things and bring certain people into their lives to dirty them and make them extortable. And again, you could have the cleanest life on earth but be extortable. You could have the most messed up life on earth and not be extortable. So what God and I did is we reverse engineered it. So that woman, she shows up. And all of a sudden they no longer want me to broadcast. And I'm thinking, that's weird. It has to do with her. Okay, if I go inside, they're going to say I'm doing something dirty around her. It doesn't matter that I'm not touching her. It doesn't matter that I won't touch her unless we, dated and had a real life, right? But she's in danger because I might go into my room, get turned, and that woman may have even turned me on, like wanted to, because that's a way a woman, gets way with men. Even if they don't have sex, there are women all day long turning men on just to make them feel easy with them, and then they get what they want. I'm sure men do the same thing, and in the gay world, I'm sure they do the same thing. So I was around a bunch of women that were paid to turn me on. They were paid to turn me on, and I still didn't touch any of them. But that frustrates me even further, so then they do that massage envy thing. I couldn't connect it all, but I even told the women, I said, your hands are healing hands, which is great, but at a certain point, something else entered it. I just had a truck driver tell me, I said, you were talking about the weather. And I said, well, Santa Fe, has nice weather, but, who can live there? Maybe if if you're uber rich, you might be able to and have an okay life or be part of the in crowd or be corrupt and criminal. And he's like, yeah, I just did through there the other day, which is weird. I hope I didn't freak him out. But he said, I just went through Santa Fe the other day, which happens, because I'm spiritually inclined. And maybe God was sending a message through me. I don't know. Or you all will people to be paranoid around me. So it could come up that way also. But he said, he said, I've been through there a few times. I have no idea who would want to live there. I told him, well, they've all been there since, before, the colonial people were even there. I mean, these people have been there for, probably ages at this point, at least the native part of it. And then the other people, the Spanish people, they've been here since colonial times, or even, but no, before colonial times. They got here with like the conquistadors. So, and then of course the rich people come in, and anytime they see poor people and a nice place to live, they just mess it all up and make it deep state. So again, Hollywood is deep state also. Well, I would say that Weinstein overstepped his bounds as far as what they say the bounds are. But it's all a lie anyway, because you'll hear them say people that use drugs, people that are in these sex clubs and into sexuality shouldn't have money. The system of the haters, but yet a lot of the haters are just that. So again, they only use it against another person. It's not real. So that they do their spycraft stuff for a while. God and I began to reverse engineer it, and we began to trigger it so we could see it. So essentially what they're doing is they're taking clinical psychology and they reverse engineered it. And when I reverse engineer what they've done, I come up with clinical psychology. Even people that have poor health, clinical psychology will tell you what leads to poor health, what leads to this psychosis, and all that type of thing. And then they do it over and over again. And if you heal, they do it over and over again. Again, I'm not telling you that there's choices. They're going to tell you that there's choices in all of that. So again, that whole operation is designed, whether it's official or unofficial, to cause psychological disruption in its victims, which in turn will cause health issues. And in fact, they're so focused on those health issues because that's physical torture. They can't wait to get to the physical torture. When you're healthy, it drives them nuts. This is what the government's focused on. Yes, maybe a few people over there aren't into it yet, at least. So again, they will use corrupt spy methods to gain access to medical records and whatnot. And then they'll get you to speak about it and go, well, he spoke about it. No, you got it from somewhere else, and that's your cover story. Well, he seems paranoid because he's saying we're places we're not. Well, we don't know what he's doing because he does investigate things, because you created a life where that has to happen. But you were there and you are there. And you are doing what I say you're doing. So again, something like that's going to go to hell. I don't care how many times I go to church. Well, they'll say, but I didn't physically murder somebody. I didn't steal physically. I didn't go to a bank and hold a bank. I didn't go to a shoplift. I didn't shoplift. Like Tucker Carlson hates shoplifters, but he stole the world from so many people. It's not even funny. But do you know what they call that? The game. They'll see the game in hell. Unreversed. Tucker Carlson's one of the people. He has a small one. It's not as big, but he has a reversal protection. Whatever you say, I'm rubber, you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off me, sticks to you. I wonder if that's what he uses. Because that is actually a spell that they use. Well, I'm not this super genius manipulator. I really am not. And I wouldn't even be concerned with anything but charity if you hadn't done what you all did. And that goes from one end of the country to the other, to one end of the globe to the other. But again, it's obvious that when I was focusing on a certain type of traffic stop response, it went that direction. When I stopped focusing on it, it went the other direction. We even at one point, we had, 2 people in one car because of a threat. I don't remember which location that was. I remember that it was. So we know at this point, for some reason, there's less suicides in law enforcement. Correct. There's always been mental health care. So again, we might have some people looking to minimize that type of activity. Now they're bringing up my disability. You spoke about it. Now we curse you with ill feeling. Again, you could feel very comfortable about everything that happened in your life if they wouldn't curse you with ill feeling. Possibly them. So again, they put you into the license plate system and it doesn't do what they say it does. And I've seen enough license plates to tell you that if people were put into C words in license plates based upon phonetics, it would affect religious people, people that love God. And that's probably about 10% of the plates I saw in the last few days. Based upon the program they used, I don't know how many years against me, or how many years ago against me. I guess it was probably about 23 years ago, something like that. It may have been there the whole time, but I noticed it at 23 years ago. Now remember, they're torturing the person around it. So as far as wearing my hat, I was experimenting with that to see what they were doing. And I do believe that's one of their experimentations. Again, they torture you more when you're doing something they don't want you to do. And again, if they were torturing me if I was doing some sort of pornography or something like that for real to put me away from the or put me away to take me, that's probably it, but to take me away from the pornography, that's one thing because that's what they represent. It's the reverse. So they can come up to you once they torture you a certain level and they say something real nice, but it's coded. It has, even if it's just direct words, it doesn't have to be code words. It's part of their pattern of harassment that's already effectuated, 20 years. So like the other day, the woman said, "Gotcha," like, and no, she wasn't. She was part of it. She's most likely part. I mean, it could be somebody weird, but they can say "I love you," but if they torture you every time they say "I love you," what happens? It's a trigger. Pavlov's dog. It's one of the most basic. But I guess you never read that stuff, did you? Right? Because it's antithesis to being a hater. Antithesis to being somebody who tortures somebody and then say, "Hey, we're just pranking." Pranking is actually operated by people that operate the pranksters to operate people they want. Now, there's probably another 100 people they prank, but it doesn't matter. But then they'll tell them to prank a certain person, and they get paid to do it. The influencers and all that, they're on the payroll. They're on the deep state payroll, whether they agree to it, realize it or not. Do you see what's happening now? They're all made. And most likely, if they don't do what they want, this is the part. Some people don't understand what they're supposed to do. It doesn't come to you overnight. Now, if you're awake before it happens, you could understand what they want. So again, these suicides in the influencer realm, they're causing it. And some of these people would just do it just to see if they could do it. And let's say they're pumping up an influencer because they want to have sex with her or with him. And then that doesn't work out. They're that psychotic. They'll move spycraft to cause the person to kill themselves. So again, we see the suicides moving from law enforcement into influence realm. See, same people. That, lust of blood, or that bloodlust. And of course, what happens when they do that? Satan gives them a great life. I watch people go into prison and come out and have a better life than me, but it's all about law enforcement, isn't it? I watch it all the time. Like I told you, God showed me somebody in Texas. Texas is killing me. They're trying to turn me into a pedophile. I'm trying to be, not afraid of it. Like, if a kid comes and talks to me, I'm going to talk to the kid. I'm like, ah! Especially, a kid that's parents are having trouble, that kind of thing. Again, people abuse it, but I've never abused it. So I know what they're doing, and I'm trying to, keep it all clean. The kid's like, "I need a phone. My phone broke." I'm like, I know the parents are like working on their own vehicle in the rain and the cold, day and night, trying to get the transmission to work, in and everything back together so that he could have a vehicle to go to work, the boyfriend of the mother. So the kid keeps coming up to me. Believe me, they tried to make me a pedophile. I already tested it. So the kid keeps coming up to me. One time he says he needs a phone. I have a phone, So I do it as best I can. But I'm kind of naive about certain stuff. I didn't know you had to sign out of your phone so he could use your phone. Not on the phone. I erased everything on the phone. And he came up to me and goes, "I can't use your phone. You have to get rid of your phone in your account." I was like, "Oh." But so again, I know what they're doing. I know what they try to do. I try to minimize any of that, which really they have to pay for the people I didn't help because it would have been risky for them and for me to do that type of charity because of criminals in government and criminals associated with government. Now, when I say associated with government, they don't have to say a word to one another. But if they let you operate and they let you operate as a criminal and you do certain things for them because, they're your buddies or whatever it is, as far as all of a sudden there's an email that tells you to do something or somebody tells you to do something. And whenever you do that, what that person tells you to do, who may not even be affiliated with government either, because it could be a chain of people. You do it, then what is that? And that person's part of the government. So I explained to you how they thwart the conspiracy laws on the internet and with spycraft. Although the implied conspiracy, the implicit conspiracy, does exist within it. Well, that's the same thing. The agents of the government are being set into motion through a chain. And people are being paid to call into the government to make a complaint. Now, there are some people who there is no direct connection, but they've never been arrested for their false complaints. The government's part of it. And they go, oh, it's the liberals. It's the liberals. I showed you how in Oklahoma with, what's that legislator's name? Odell, I guess it is, how there were people from the other party involved. So again, who is that? That's the deep state. We had a deep state Republican and a deep state Democrat. Oh, actually, the Democrat eventually said he was being used, I think. Oh no, he didn't, did he? It was the new Attorney General. Well, I explained how law enforcement is supposed to work, and it works the best the way I say. It's just there's no. The reason is there's no personal. When I explain that stuff, there's no personal motivation. That's why it works, and of course, it's God. Again, spirit of the law versus word of the law, or jot and tittle of the law, whatever. But again, okay, here's how the law works. If somebody commits a crime and you forgive them because you believe spirit of the law said this, we don't prosecute this, somebody still pays for it because somebody put that person into it. But again, even if you convict them, somebody else pays for it in most cases. Again, our prisons are full of people that are spiritually blind. And you would tell me Jesus hates me for that? Because law enforcement has most people in law enforcement have a different opinion? Or God would hate me for that? Because this is the kind of things they say in their circles. Because it's true. There's a difference between them and you, and it's not simply that you're a cop and they committed a crime. It's a big difference. Most of those people can't even get out of their own way. Now, you have a law system, that's fine, but don't corrupt it and then cause people to fall and say that you don't know what's going on. I forget where I was going with that other one. But I guess just to say I know what they're doing, I guess. Oh, no, there was something else. There was something else connected to that, but I can't get to it. Oh, okay, yeah, there it is. Right, they remember what I was saying. So I was in. Somebody sent me a message, or maybe it was God, maybe it was them, I don't know, maybe all of them. Okay, and Tyler, this kid shows up, this young guy. I mean, he's about 20, 21, having big problems. He's going to straight his life. Well, he started walking with me because I take walks and the kid would show up. Now this other guy shows up. and he's telling me about his father. Yeah, my father, he's a he's in the church. And I'll even explain it, to all the way through this thing. So it got real weird when his father showed up. And his father was like a big pickup truck. He told me his father had a house or houses, and he wasn't hurting for money, but he was a good guy and he was going to help the kid straighten out his life. He put him in the hotel for a couple days. So when it got weird, I don't normally run people because I know that's part of what they'll use against me. But in that particular case, I felt a need to find out possibly who the father was. Again, that idea came from God. It wasn't anything that I would have thought of. And it turns out he was a pedophile, a sex offender that was on the registry. And he's in churches. And, I'm all for people repenting and getting somewhere. And actually, that was in the news today. But I'm not for what you're all doing around all that because it's all fake. Again, the idea that this person doesn't get money, that person is a lie. And then you get to a certain stage of all this, and people like Trump and all the rich people, they go, of course it's fake. Gotcha, but there is a God. So all the people that look nice in church are actually witches casting spells on the rest of the world to be sinners. And they call that holy. They call that good. Again, evil, good, good, evil. I will tell you right now that churches will work for criminal government and criminals if they pay the right amount of money. And now the criminal will come up as a private investigator or something like that. And they'll be like a organized crime person trying to take out a good person. Again, being in government was the worst thing I ever did because I would have had a quiet, peaceful, beautiful life if I wasn't there. Because I thought I was doing the right thing by not being corrupt. Here, I was offending everyone. Well, it's being corrupt to attack your coworker. Again, that individual or a group of individuals are working a government project, and they are federal officers or federal employees. If you alter that downward with intention, and that intention would be criminal, then you've obstructed that officer and those people in the performance of their task. In some cases, it could be sabotage. However, it is, in my case, it was assault on federal officer. And some would say that continues today because it never stopped. Or some related charge. All right, I got to look to see how much battery power I have. I can't see this. Well, my belt works well. It's just I'm gonna have to put the battery back up on the cross. My phone's on the cross. I got to get a second phone so I can. I have a camera. I'm cursed from my GoPro. GoPro just doesn't have enough power for me to use it. Or maybe I'm using it and you don't know where it is. But I like to take a picture of this so I can show you what it looks like. It's pretty cool, like for my own eyes. I was thinking of getting this, those glasses, but I don't wear contacts anymore. They have like a little lens in there. You know, they have a little camera in there. So I have a little trouble with my cameras in the room. I order some more. Hopefully, I get here soon. So I get this email today from the one company, and it says, you know, if you're having trouble with your camera, please contact us. We'll replace it. Like, they don't want you to return it to Amazon because it's a strike against them. But that mouth fell apart. I'm just going to return. I don't have, like, once upon a time, and this is how it works with everybody, really, too. If your life is more settled, then you're less likely just to return something to Amazon. You might try to work it out. But at a certain point, it becomes overwhelming. So I know they're willing me to get with a woman. Because women are starting to pop up more so. So again, it could mean that certain operators are back into the operation they're using against me. So when your life changes, it isn't always just changing. Somebody could be manipulating you with spycraft, with witchcraft, wheeling you down. See, and that's how we know that it's corrupt. Their will is evil. They think their will to arrest somebody is good. No, if you're looking for an arrest beyond what would naturally occur, then you're a devil. So again, that's the change we've seen in law enforcement. Like, people are angry at them and they can't articulate it. Well, the fact is, part of the increase in crime is politics and people angry at defund movement. But crime was increasing before that. Again, they're like surfers. Spies are surfers. They see crime increasing, they go, we can use this. Again, like Trump. Oh, that fentanyl's from Biden. No, it started with you, Trump. It's how trends work. And all those people that you didn't catch coming into the United States with those low stats, they brought the fentanyl in and set up networks. Now, I do believe some of it is because of COVID. Officers did not want to interact with people as much when the fear of COVID was there, which is no problem at all. Again, in wartime, we do something similar. Right? We're very careful in what we do when we think there's chemical and biological around. So these are the things that are really happening. They can't articulate why they're so angry. I can. So I went through, I think I did a tweet on Black America, just a short one, when the crime began to increase. And it appears to be in line with the creation of psychological warfare programs to be used for law enforcement and other such things at a spycraft level. Now they say, again, it's the same pattern of explanation. Well, we're just going to use this for interrogation. Next thing you know, they got prostitutes. They're behind a window, probably pleasuring themselves while everybody's on LSD. Evil begets evil. Now, if you're people that do that voluntarily together, that's fine. But when the government is causing that, so, you know, I spoke about it before, but I never made the connection in the time frame. So Black America begins to fall, and it coincides with the MK Ultra, and prior to that, Project Artichoke, where they learned how to manipulate people. Again, it doesn't have to include LSD, but that's one of what they use. So you have to understand, when they began to understand how to manipulate people to get them, what was the word in Project Artichoke? Get somebody to be an assassin against their better self-judgment, better natural thoughts of survival, that kind of thing. No self-interest, they'll just do what we want. When they started that, next thing you know, the Black community begins to increase in crime. We know they're racist because we saw the files. If you go back to the FBI files and all those files back to the 40s, 50s, and 60s, you'll see that they're racist and things such as that. They didn't know that they were betraying it, but you could see it. Plus, there's, you know, a lot of hidden stories. And some of those are real, some of those are fake. So the government learned how to psychologically manipulate people at a higher level, and then the Black community began to increase in crime and decrease in wellness. And again, like I explained, that entire type of thing is what Satan wants, and that's where it comes from. So Satan will repay you for doing such things. But again, if you're Black and you do it to a white person, same thing. No difference. I mean, you can play your games out there, political games, all you like. I tried to clean you all up, and in the end, you just became dirtier. All of you. You took the up, and then you became dirtier with it. So that up's gone. And it's leaving more and more day by day. But in reality, if you know what your actions are, again, if you're asleep. Oh, wait a minute. All right, something happened there. Hello. Devils are cursing me. If you're asleep and you can't hear, like I couldn't hear there, you couldn't hear for a second. I reconnected the battery. I had to take the battery out and put it back in. I have no idea why, but it worked. Again, and that's like intuition. So I have a good connection to something that I could, you know, I guess God could get through and say, just reconnect the battery like it's me, right? You know, like I know to go, tink, tink, oh, it worked. I'm wonderful. So God got through, and I could disconnect and reconnect the little power bank battery I have. It should run without the power bank battery. That's what I don't understand. Oh, I have the bigger hub here, so maybe it requires the power. I don't know. But I had sufficient power on my phone. And the phone wasn't, like last night, the phone just ran out of juice. This time I was like, what? So these things, I may have missed a step there, but the things that you're doing are evil or good. And it doesn't necessarily mean criminal and non-criminal. Again, when I woke up, I told you those are two different things. Criminal and non-criminal, and evil and good are two different things. So again, you could fault me. Oh, okay, you're telling people about the knowledge of good and evil. Okay, so Adam and Eve, all of a sudden, for whatever that speaks about, and I think it speaks about another place other than here, but they ended up here. At least I believe they did. Again, they're living in a spiritual place, and now they're in a physical place. I had something similar happen to me. I was in a spiritual, physical place, and I ended up here in a physical place. And now I'm physical, spiritual. Not everybody here is physical, spiritual. So all of this activity that I'm describing is good and evil. If Adam and Eve were convinced by some snake, and for all I know, it could be somebody alive here today that could project through time and space and cause that change so the world would look like it does today, so they can use it. Could be a big preacher today. It could be the beast. When the beast hits Earth, the beast's will may have went all the way back through time and space to cause Adam and Eve to fall, so the beast could come here and do what he's doing today. Now, is the beast here in the son of perdition? I don't know. And so that's what I was speaking about there. I guess terms are very difficult because the church uses them poorly. There's many antichrists. There's one son of perdition, and the beast is the spirit. Is the spiritual thing, if I'm not mistaken. And theoretically, there'll be 666 core antichrists. But it's kind of like the idea that that's an angel, that's God, those are gods. There's so many different spiritual beings and different beings that it doesn't matter. Because if it's not an antichrist, it could be a different type of devil, an imp, or something like that. Well, antichrist is actually a type of devil. It's one that is opposing the work of Jesus. I would say that kind of thing. Now, some could go, well, antichrist, if Christ is God, that it's somebody anti to God. Well, maybe so. But I think it would be probably somebody that was turning the work of Jesus upside down, which we have in a lot of different places today. So they would need the knowledge at that point of good and evil. See, that's what pisses Satan off. Knowledge. Because if you are aware of good and evil, you need to have the knowledge of how good and evil works. Because it's not evil for you to be possessed. Again, way back when, like the Inquisition, they would kill you because of sin. But that's not what Jesus said. So there's there's always at least two audiences in the scriptures. And the one are those that are the victims and those that are the victimizers. Usually the people that are wealthy and doing well are the victimizers, but not always. But yet we have the Judases, who initially was a victim, but then became a victimizer. Well, that's why I never would have been in law enforcement had I been awake. I would know good and evil, and I'd say, well, that's not good. Again, God is not a respecter of persons for that reasoning. I never, ever threw around any position that I held when I was in the civilian community, nor in the government community. I actually played it down as a no big deal. You're more important than we are. And that's true. You all learn that lesson very, very slowly. Because you can't succeed without them. I mean, you got money, right? You in the lotto. Some of you make it, some of you don't. Some of you eat your gun. I mean, it's the realities. This is how it happens. And then some, they find their way to Silicons and Silly Clowns Valley, and they get rich. So they get rich. And how they get rich? They're corrupt law enforcement, corrupt intelligence. That's the payoff. But they're the devils. They'll point to how they secured the world, but they screw up the world and trickle the security back. You see how it's organized crime? Classic example. Protection racket. Meanwhile, they're all off in the orgy world and saying, well, that person should have money because they're in the orgy world. I mean, they're nuts. But yet their big bosses are in the orgy world. They're doing drugs and everything else. I mean, look, yet everybody else is getting arrested, but Elon Musk runs around and does drugs all day. I wonder what's wrong with him. He's doing hallucinogenics. Some would say that's the secret to his power. I would say no. He was propped up. I mean, it's a genius plan. Whoever in CIA figured we'll make these uber rich people and they'll pay us when we come out and go looking for some money. Or you get somebody like Comey. He cycled it, right? Comey's a genius. He got his money early. Well, I'll come out for a few years, get my money, and then go back in. They're crooks, man. Devils and crooks. They're fake. No, that's not how you make money. That's what, again, it's the protection racket thing. You created that world that's how you make money. So you can justify it and call yourselves good. Yes, if you haven't figured out, I'm the biggest preacher on the planet. I'm just under serious criminal attack by the government and its cronies. Okay, yeah, they don't put cameras. That camera can't see me at my van. Or maybe that one can it? Maybe it does. I have to take a look. No, it can't. That one can't. These other cameras. You ever see all the cameras over here? I ain't never seen so many cameras in my life. No, I don't know how many cameras. They got a lot of lights. They got a few cameras. Hospital looks okay. It doesn't look like it needs to be healed, but I'm sure there's people in there that needs to be healed. And I could be there doing that today if you didn't ruin my life. And moved on to the next hospital and visited 15 hospitals today and, healed thousands. But you all don't like healing. You just like playing church and synagogue and gurdwara and mosque and temple. So, yeah, that Indian guy, it was so weird because I think I saw him the other day. Well, that was a different vehicle. I guess a lot of the delivery people are from India. They're pretty trustworthy people generally. But when they go bad, believe me. Some of those crimes over there in India are crazy. I mean, they lack any criminal intelligence. Just self-destruct. It's just like in Korea. When I was in Korea, they go, okay, watch when you look at the news when people get arrested. Koreans always do the same thing. At least back then, they used to always cry when they get arrested. So there was some opening in North Korea and Pyongyang and Jerusalem to the east recently. So it appears that it's a curse, a jealousy curse. And some of it came from the church of the time. Because you got to understand, it was a fledgling church and it just went boom, huge. And people were honoring it when people felt slighted. And of course, there were probably some atheists also in there and some Satanists. But it's under a spell. We could have healed that in my lifetime, but you all chose not to. Remember, their scam, their racket, it doesn't require as much as they're doing, but it does require that type of cover where you need us to fix this. But it never fixes. In most places, we would fire people or back when. Boy, it's a gorgeous day today. I guess a nice wind. And it's got a haze in the sky. It's not cloudy, but it does have that. It's clouds, but it's the hazy clouds. How you doing? What's that? Yeah, I'm broadcasting. It's nice today, isn't it? Weather's nice. Guys drinking Bud Light. I'm like, I hate you. He drinks free every day. And there's a lot of people that drink end up over here. I just probably were thrown out of some place. They can't get anywhere else. Now they don't make mistakes. That's calculated. They can do what they do is they torture with patterns of speech and behavior, and then when they're feigning being nice, say, "Oh, we're going to help them now." They'll put that in there and go, "Oh, it seems like we can't help him." Oh, the filth of the filth, the dregs of the dregs, the devils of the devils, the worst of the worst. So I'm trying to lose some weight here. Hopefully it works. Well, I mean, you have preachers that are quote unquote earth big, but they're phonies. They're devils, man. Like that whole thing I told you about Trump. As soon as the money dried up, they're like, "Oh, Trump is now evil." We'll be moving on. Well, they had to do that to get to the next person that they're going to get money for supporting. Again, I can see your doctrine being manipulated. Again, you're not wrong, but when there are people, what they'll do is they'll move people sexual, and then make it wrong to be sexual, but only certain people will suffer from that. You understand what I'm saying? Like the guys in Silicon Valley, they're sexually used drugs, nobody cares, but they're part of the thing that will ruin your life for being sexual in the wrong direction. And what the wrong direction is what they say it is. So again, what is it? It's not real. But that's one of the mechanisms that they use. So what I see in the church is they start focusing on something. But the setup was already in, including preachers. Preachers are caused to fall. Again, I believe the Bible allows you to keep a preacher that messes up as long as it isn't dangerous. Obviously, you can't keep a preacher. Well, I'd say, obviously you're not supposed to keep a preacher that's a pedophile, but of course they're doing that in Tyler. So again, crocodile deers, false application of law, which is criminal enterprise down there, as it is probably most places. They even have the gumption to say that they increased their reach because of me and what I was saying. This is where their minds are every day of the year. And then they go, "That's what Moore's doing." If I'm doing it, then you caused it. Either by doing something or causing me to say that. Which means most things I say are a reaction to what you're doing, and so it makes it the truth. I mean, it's insane what they do. See, this is where they call me a con man. You speak the truth, they call you a con man. So they just admitted to changing the world inside, making it more evil, but then they blame me for it. And God told me that. He goes, "Don't pay attention to all the histories of all this stuff. Like, you're a bad angel, you're a good angel." He goes, "It's all confused, and names are all confused. It's just that many of these works did occur." Because you'll read one, you'll look at, even in the Jewish virtual library, you'll read one opinion, and then you'll read the opinion 180 degrees out. Same faith, same people. Well, who's the father of confusion? The big accuser, Satan. So again, if confusion and accusation works together, what is the deep state and those other things that we call it, the beast and all that? Confusion and accusation. What is the church? Confusion and accusation. We're not going to call it politics. We're not going to call it national Christianity or nationalist. It's Satan. It's confusion. And the churches that are outside of Christian nationalism are the same thing. And if they're not doing it today, if I walked in your church, the government would come, or some private investigator would come, or some of your buddy would, oh boy, would say something, and you would do it. Cause confusion and accuse. They're trying to get me to get a loan. Oh, they want me. Oh, that's what they want. It's on the tire here. What kind of tire was that? It said loan on it. At least I thought it said that. They want me to spend money so I get a loan like I did back when in Tyler. Because the person, no, it says loader. But it said loan when I looked at it. So they break your money, and then they want you to get a loan, and then you get a loan, and then you got a bankruptcy. Because what's happening right now, their people are heading to bankruptcy. So now they're victims. They want their victims to head to bankruptcy. It's just how they work. Again, they're psychotic, and they want their victims to be more psychotic than they are. And they do that through psychological torture and drugging them and everything, and over an extended period of time. Because what they're doing is they're wiring your body for it. If they would stop, most people would just heal. And of course, if they would stop, then you would heal to a certain degree. I watch their people freak out, and then Satan repowers them, and they're all cocky again. And it's funny because if you go to, what's it? Not Def Leppard. What was that band? I don't remember what it's called. It's called The Number of the Beast. And it speaks about the cycle of the beast. Confidence, fear, and then confidence. And so that's actually kind of scriptural. Iron Maiden, I think it is. What they do, a lot of them, is they make their phone call. So again, that's why they isolate their victims. You see, devils in the community will isolate their victim, whether it be a police officer. It's all spycraft and witchcraft. Craft. That's what it is. They leaked all the spycraft stuff to the criminal cronies. But they will isolate their victim, and they will gather their people together because there's a good feeling in being around other creation. So that's part of spycraft and part of witchcraft. Witches isolate people, spies isolate people. And then they say they isolate themselves. At a certain point, you would probably, to a certain degree, because it doesn't pay. You go and you talk to somebody and they sell out. But they'll go to hell, believe me. Again, I'm not the only one. I'm just the most vocal and the one that knows what they're doing. There are people all over the earth that are witnessing what's going on. See what time it is. I got a few more minutes. I just passed a black guy when we go inside, so I can say I went in and masturbated. It's my fault? No, not at all. So again, by them doing that, I know, by them doing that, hey. Again, a lot of people, I brought this up before in Naples when I first got there. Most people have gay thoughts because of that type of thing. The projection, the spycraft, the witchcraft. What happens is how you deal with it. And I'm not telling you're evil if you become gay, because I just explained how that happens. But they will get offended by it, but then they'll use it. So again, the difference of using what Satan does to you. So remember, the beast has the ability to have things happen right now. The beast has the capability to make things happen right now. So the beast's will from the future is actually changing what's happening on Earth to prepare the ground for his entrance. And again, there's a beast. So the son of perdition is the opposite. Is the anti-son of God. So that's helped you understand that. So again, the church always talks about the Antichrist coming. And they already said in the Bible. That shows you their lack of any knowledge. I mean, how stupid you'd be. There's Antichrist all the way back when Paul was here. Because they are one, some of them at least. And they follow Antichrist. Now, again, there's periods of time such as the Inquisition. And that's in your Bible. Those people were immense power, immense wealth. You as an everyday person are hit in the head by the Inquisition. Church is hit in the head by the Inquisition. So again, the Inquisition will try to take the church to the point of killing people. And again, oh, we're trying to save people. We're trying to stop abortion. It's the same thing I spoke about the FBI in that one case with the mentally ill guy. You're causing it and then saying you shouldn't do it. You're possessing people to it also, metaphysically, and saying they shouldn't do it. That guy over there in Unity may be Fillmore, but I'm Fillmore. They're over there on the Missouri side. I'm over here on the Kansas side. Maybe we'll get something done here. Be careful. If the FBI calls you in to evaluate what I'm doing, you just have to say it's crazy and it's not real. Otherwise, they'll kill you. And I said that about Jesus also. See what time it is. 57, getting there. How you doing, Senator Hayes? I got ya. Heinz 57. They killed him, man. They killed him. He was a good guy. I myself wonder if it's physical, but it was definitely metaphysical. Again, the same thing with Inhofe and his son. Now, again, they may not be perfect, but there's a lot worse. Now, I knew about Inhofe years ago. I didn't know Inhofe. I was in the Marshal Service, I guess, and then Inhofe had some issues, or his son had issues. I can't remember all that. But I remember people having the plane issues. And they still get him. Oh, you did something with your plane, Inhofe. It's illegal. But he has money, so that shows you the difference. Right. He's probably awake, young in life. No, I could see they were getting him. I could tell when he would speak. I'm like, I know they're getting him. Again, as long as Trump does what Satan wants, he has that power to at least have that appearance. Again, Satan is just an appearance. The strange thing is, everybody I worked with, it was, people were, whatchamacallit, we're like Trump groupies. Like, you need television. They're like, they're talking about you fired all the time. I guess it was a cue, huh? But it got real sticky, and they did their takeover. I believe that I'm of the opinion that lower level internal affairs figured out what was happening in my life, and then somebody moved outside of internal affairs, like FBI and all the cronies there, and they couldn't do anything. So they all fixed it. So what they were doing to me would not affect my future career and all that. And who knows? They would have eventually arrested people. I don't know, but it was kind of, what they're saying. It was not a hostile. It was like a civil war in government. It was a hostile takeover by foreign governments. That's what it was. Now, within our own government was a foreign government. I spoke about that before. Well, I gave the Ukraine and Russia the best advice I could, and then, they started killing me. God said, get away from it. They'll take care of itself. There are people in the Ukraine that were killing me. They didn't want me to be part of it. But then they fault me for not standing up for my country and freedom. Go away. I don't know how many years I took care of you. You did nothing to even make sure my life was okay, knowing that you were working for foreign spies to take out my life, for some of you people. The spies all work together to steal the Earth, or steal the planet and steal the money. And all that. Earth is probably something else, at least metaphysically, if not physically. Well, just because the Bible says it doesn't mean. Because here, are you going to stone your neighbor because he went out to the club last night and cheated on his wife? So again, what you all say is not true at all. And again, I can't even say this without God saying it, because something would probably strike me dead, and it wouldn't be God. So I know God's here, and He just said that through me. I didn't even have my brain couldn't calculate that. I'm God's drone. And God did a weird vision, and it just unsettled me for a while. And then I got the meaning. Again, it's like in literature, how you have figurative meanings. So it's that vision from, and maybe Satan was the originator, but God explained why He allowed it, just to kind of fear me and geek me out of it. But so God, or not God. So you go to that movie Independence Day, and that thing wraps its tentacles or something around the being that was dead and then speaks through it. And God said, what you're doing is getting you killed. So there is an element in this of that, but you would be killed anyway. So again, but God's like, okay, you're killing this guy. He's working for me. Now, some people are Satanists. They believe that, there's a different world. Now, some people, you don't have to worship. Okay, a lot of Satan worshipers aren't satanic. They really aren't. It's just strange. But there are people, and this is how God shows it also. There are people out there that are satanic, but they believe in that deep state type of thing. And they're considered good. So again, things in the Bible, when time moves to fullness, may change a little bit, but not necessarily be completely changed. So the more that the other beings on the planet are able to will their victims into sin and into pain and horrid life, the less culpable those people will be. Again, God's justice is perfect. Now you have to realize that Ephesians wasn't available 300 years earlier. but certain information was. Again, one of the ways God showed me that was when he began showing me what was actually in Judaism. You know, some would say the Kabbalistic side, and I'm not speaking about necessarily the mechanical tree of life thing. The rabbis, that's how they deliver it, right? Through that system, but the rabbis say a lot more. Now, if you notice, some of the best rabbis will actually focus people on themselves instead of judging the world's evil. Now, again, I have to do what I have to do, and I do it in a way that's very understandable. Again, if you start judging people sinners without explaining that sin and understanding how it comes and goes, then there's trouble. So the rabbis figured without that information, and God probably said, just focus on that part of it. And again, the strength of the Orthodox Jews, and again, there's sin there, I guess, for an evil time period. And obviously, Emden knew there was sin back then. Rabbi Emden spoke about, the greater the man, the more propensity for that sin. So again, he was a very intelligent person. And I came to that conclusion, how? With God, before I even read Emden. But that showed me that Emden knew something. Again, don't expect anybody to be. What'll happen is people that are not even 1% correct will point at somebody that's not 100% correct and say that everything they say is false. You have to be careful of that. Right? God does what God can to make it all correct. And you may say something that gets written down today that will be used in 50 years. If you're somebody that writes a book or something, but a lot of the books are just nonsense at this point, all fluffy for nothing. Again, when I started this, God said, let's just, if that's how they become comfortable. Oh, wait a minute. What happened here? Hello? Can't see my screen.